Liver King here. I'm going to talk to you about the 9 ancestral tenets. So the 9 ancestral tenets are these forces that have nourished us and shaped us to epigenetically express our highest and most dominant form. It's enabled us to become the baddest mammalian predators that ever lived. So these are the 9 ancestral tenets.
Well, sleep is a natural extension of what we already do, right? It starts with getting early morning sun at the same time every morning. We've been here in New York City, and we've still been doing that. Even when it's overcast outside, you need to get out and about and get the sunlight through the eyes, on the face, on the skin. That's gonna set up your best sleep and set your biocircadian rhythm. What you need to do is make sure that you have your cell phone off on airplane mode. We did that out in the woods where we live. We still do that here in New York City. You need to make sure that you finish your last meal 3 to 4 hours before bed. We do that back home. We do that in New York City. And last but not least is we do our best to take in the sunset as a final environmental cue that the day is winding down, and then we put on our blue light blocking glasses to make sure that the artificial lights don't disrupt us into tricking us into thinking it's daylight all over again. Getting ancestral sleep is really not that different here than it is back home. So eat in the big city is also an extension of what we normally do back home. The biggest things are making sure that you cut out all the crap, all the processed foods, all the liquid calories, all the seed oils, and we're still able to do that here. And then how do we maintain nose to tail, horns to hooves, and bones to blood? Well, I'll tell you what you gotta do is you go to a butcher, right? You go to the butcher and you say, can I get a pound of liver? Can I get 6 pounds of bone marrow? This is not that hard to do. We've done that here. We met a lot of other primals that do that here. We know tons of primals that have proven to us that you can continue to do that and adopt a nose to tail diet here in the big city. And if you can't do that, or you're not willing to do that, then go get a supplement. Go get an ancestral supplement or go get a heart and soil supplement and get it in a capsule. Eating nose to tail is not that difficult to do in the big city. Move is perhaps the easiest of them all. We're doing it here. We're doing it right now. I would say that the city is the best place, maybe even an even better place to move than it is back home in the woods, because you go out the front door and you have an endless amount of places that you can move. Of course, it's nice to walk through Central Park, but you know what we do after dinner is we just go walk around the block, and we walk around the block again. We walk around the block again, and we take a backpack with us, and we carry something heavy. We carry it on the back, or we carry it in the front, or we carry it on the side. So moving is really more about making sure that you stay moving, that you're not just going from your bed to your car, to your office chair, back to your car, back to your couch, back to watch Netflix. Move is about to make a conscious, cognizant effort to get your feet moving, to get in those 10,000 steps a day, and to lift some heavy shit. This is how we move, and New York City has been no different than how we move back home. Shield is one of my favorite tenets, and what I would say is don't make this too complicated, right? When we go and visit with these indigenous primitive culture tribes, they're literally shielding from the lion, from the jaguar. They're literally shielding from neighboring tribes that are trying to kill them. What we're trying to shield from are other dangers that are slowly and insidiously killing us. And so what I would say is start by turning off the Wi-Fi at night. Stop wearing perfumes. Stop wearing petrochemical clothing, also known as polyester or non-native clothes. Start with those 3 things. And this, again, is a natural extension of what we do back home. How do we do it in New York City? It's the same thing. We come into the city and we make sure that the Wi-Fi is either off at night or we're using shielding material to make sure that it's shielding us. So we use like a Faraday material over a router in the hotel room. We're making sure we never wear perfumes anyways, and we're not wearing petrochemical clothing. So for us, it's not that big of a difference. Start with those 3 things. Whether you live in the woods or you live in the city, you can shield the same way. I think to connect might be the easiest thing you can do. Do you see this right here? All you have to do is put your hand on the tree. You don't have to take your shoes off and put your bare feet on the ground, anchored, connected, grounded into the earth. You can anchor, connect, and ground into the tree that's grounded into the earth. right? So it's been the easiest thing to do. We get outside the hotel room and you find a little plot of land like that. If you don't want to bend over and take off your shoes because it requires too much effort, all you have to do is put your hand on a tree, hang out there. 2 minutes is better than none. 5 minutes is better than 2, and 10 minutes is better than 5. Get out there and take some action and connect with the earth. These are our ancestral ways, and this has been no different here than it is back home.
What do you recommend to get cold?
Yeah, once again, no excuses. All 9 ancestral tenets can effortlessly be done, be lived, irrespective of where you are. And if you look around, everyone's wearing a jacket. It's not that complicated. Take off a jacket, take off a shirt, don't put it on to begin with. And then when you get really cold and you're shivering, you've done it. You've created the stimulus to create a response, to create an adaptation, to be stronger, to be better, because you did it, because you earned it. So what I would say is, people that say, oh, I don't have a cold plunge, I don't have access to cold water that's unpolluted, I don't have access to, here's another excuse, take off your damn shirt. Don't put it on in the first place. Don't put your jacket on. And once you're really cold, you'll know it, and you've done it. Yeah, so Ancestral Tenet 7, which is sun. We get out every morning, still at the same time, and you just gotta be a little bit inventive. You gotta look and see where the nooks and crannies are. Where's the sun coming out? For us, we go into Central Park and we'll look around and we'll find a place where there's sun. But all throughout the day, you're gonna find places where there's sun. So you can't tell me from any high rise or anywhere you're at that you don't have access to sun. In the morning, in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, what you need to do is just get out and take massive action and get the sun on you.
The famous ancestral tenet number 8, fight. How are we doing that in New York City?
Well, this is why we're in New York City, right? We're here to fight because too many people are suffering and struggling with modern day chronic conditions that make their life suck, right? They have depression, anxiety, autoimmune, infertility, low energy, low libido, and low ambition in life. And here's the thing, it's up to us to spread this message. It's up to us to amplify this message. It's up to us to model, teach, and preach this message, to fight for this message, so that people's lives don't have to suck, so that they can live a life that's full of adventure and excitement and full of health. This is what we fight for. This is why we're here. So pick your passion, right? Pick your passion, no matter whether you're in the big city or you live back home in the woods, no matter where you are. If you fight for something of meaning, something of real purpose, this is how you get to express that.
How do we bond in New York City?
Yeah, bonding in New York City, I would just first say once again, is a natural extension of what we do back home. We still have our daily dinner cadence here in the city. After dinner, we have nowhere to go, but we go on a walk, right? Liver Queen and I go on a walk. We talk for 30 minutes. All we're doing is walking around the block. So the daily dinner cadence where I get a bond with my family and I get a bond with Liver Queen afterwards is no different from the way it is back home. But I'll tell you something else that's really important is I walked into the subway and saw everybody on their phone. Everybody's on their damn phone. And if you just put down that damn phone and you look at the person next to you and you start talking to them, wait and see how that creates and shapes a life of fulfillment, a life of purpose, a life of connection, because we all need that. We've always needed that and we still do.
These are our ancestral ways. Do these things to express your highest and most dominant form. Liver King out.